Thanks for joining us. We are glad to have you. By continuing to learn at USuccess, you are expanding your perspective, sharpening your skills, and making yourself even more in demand. Keep learning. Our topic today is creating and managing Sparklines in Microsoft Excel. Sparklines are tiny charts that reside in a cell in Excel. These charts are used to show a trend over time or the variation in the dataset. You can use these sparklines to make your bland data look better by adding this layer of visual analysis. While sparklines are tiny charts, they have limited functionality, as compared with regular charts in Excel. Despite that, sparklines are great as you can create these easy to show a trend, and even outliers/high-low points, and make your reports and dashboard more reader-friendly. Unlike regular charts, sparklines are not objects. These reside in a cell as the background of that cell. In Excel, there are three types of sparklines: line, column, win-loss. By the end of this topic, you will be able to insert sparklines in Excel, edit the dataset of existing sparklines, handle hidden and empty cells, change the sparkline type, highlight data points in sparklines, change sparklines color and style, add an axis to sparklines, group and ungroup sparklines, delete sparklines. Let's get started. You can use standard Microsoft Excel charts to summarize large data collections quickly. However, you might not always want to summarize a huge range of data, or have your chart take up a lot of space in your dashboard. In this video, I will show you how to create sparklines, which are word-sized charts that fit within a single worksheet cell, and were made popular recently by designer Edward Tufte. In this workbook, I have a table that shows monthly sales data. You can see the sales data in column B, and then we'll use the data in B for the first two sparkline types. And then finally, we will compare the actual sales versus the goals in column C, generating a result in column D. And we'll use that result to create what's called a win/loss sparkline. We'll start, however, by creating a line sparkline, which is essentially a small line chart. So I'll click in cell F2. And then, on the Insert tab of the ribbon, I'll go to the Sparklines group and click Line. And I'll select my data range, making sure that the insertion point is flashing in the data range box. And I'll select cells B2 through B13. I don't want to select any labels or any other data. And click OK. And there you see the sparkline. So I have the line itself, and it shows the general trend of the data. I can create a similar type of sparkline called a column sparkline. So I'll go ahead and click in cell G2, go back to Insert. And this time, in the Sparklines group, I'll click Column. My location range is already G2, so I can select my data range. And again, for this, that will be B2 through B13. Looks good, click OK. And there you see the call column chart. Normally, I would use a column sparkline for column data, as opposed to time series data. I like lines better for time data, but it works just as well in this case. Finally, there is a win/loss sparkline, and this is actually win/loss or tie. If you look at the data in column D, you'll see that we have positive numbers where sales exceeded the goal, negative numbers where sales were lower than the goal, and then also, for July in cell D8, you see that there's a 0, and that's where sales exactly met its goal. It's unlikely, but I wanted to include it as an example, so you see what happens. To create the win/loss sparkline, I'll click cell H2, go back to Insert, and then under Sparklines, click win/loss. Location range is H2, and the data range is the result, again, with the positive, negative, and 0 values on D2 to D13. Okay, and there it is. And by just a quick word of explanation, all of the blue markers above the middle line indicate a win. The red markers below the center line represent a loss. And you have this gap here representing July, which is where the value was exactly 0. So it's a tie. If you want to format a sparkline, you can click the cell that contains it, and then go to the Sparkline Contextual tab of the ribbon. You see that you can select different styles. You can change the color of different elements. You can also indicate different types of points. So for example, with the line sparkline in F2, I could indicate the high point with a marker. I could also indicate the low point, and you see the other check marks available. In most cases, you probably won't need to do that. So I will go ahead and clear those check boxes, so that we have the original line. Sparklines are great for saving space and summarizing data in a dashboard. You don't get all the details that you get with a regular size chart, but they make up for it in the space that you save. In this topic, you learnt that sparklines are dynamic and are dependent on the underlying dataset. When the underlying dataset changes, the sparkline would automatically update. This makes it a useful tool to use when creating Excel dashboards. You also learnt that sparkline size is dependent on the size of the cell. If you change the cell height or width, the sparkline would adjust accordingly. And lastly, you learnt that while you have sparkline in a cell, you can also enter a text in it. You can also customize these sparklines, such as change the color, add an axis, highlight maximum/minimum data points, etc. We hope this topic has been useful to you. Thanks for watching.